I didn't
Congratulations, Red Wings fans.
Congratulations, Thrashers fans, on existing, I suppose. And then finally, we have to make the case for Hunwick because, yeah, it might be a cop-out to pick the goaltender every week if they win, but he really did have a phenomenal
2 wins.
series.
Yeah, our third producer, Merrick Stone, who unfortunately cannot be here today, made that pick. Sean Hunwick, a strong series for sure. He was huge. A lot of odd man breakaways, as we mentioned. Those are the toughest things to stop, and he did pretty well with those.
Right. I mean, so many neutral zone and own zone turnovers only to result in 3 goals in 2 games.
And of course, your goalie's your most important penalty killer. If penalty kill's working, you got to look at your goalie first.
Yeah, not as many juicy rebounds as we used to see from Hunwick. At least that was the big knock on him in previous years. Well, we need to go to commercial break. Come back on the other side, as we promised, the official, unofficial voice of Michigan hockey, at least on Big Ten Network when it's streamed online. Wow, that's a really crappy title. Yeah, that's awful. Well, Adam Brewster will be here anyhow. Stay tuned. Welcome back to WOLV Overtime.
Whoa.
Alex Prasad.
Where'd you come from?
Yeah, where did... No, the magic of television. Of course, apparently the magic of television can't get you well-dressed to appear on our show.
I have no excuses.
You have no excuses. And the pink tie, I mean, if you had the jacket, it kind of obscures the pink tie, you know.
But you go to the varsity blue tapes. Always very well-dressed.
Go to the varsity blue tapes. So you are you're self-titled official, unofficial voice of Michigan hockey. Could you explain why that is? Why should anyone believe you, Adam?
Well, I work with WCBN Radio, and we do Michigan hockey games, and me and Mike Lewandowski, now that our sports director Andrew Guderres is gone, we would be official, unofficial voice. I would be wrong to take the title solely for myself. A co-official, unofficial voice on WCBN.
Is that on your
FM
resume?
Ann Arbor.
Because I'm pretty sure someone would hire you without question if unofficial.
Al Randall can't be around forever.
I can't even get it right. What was that?
Al Randall can't be around forever.
It's true story. He will retire one day. Well, maybe not.
Maybe not. All right, Adam, you broke down the penalty kill for Michigan this past weekend, especially on Saturday. That's what we're going to take a look at. A key watershed moment. We're hoping, fingers crossed here, for seniors in their season that they build upon to win a national championship. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. Why the penalty kill? Why did you choose that for the telestrator segment, I guess is the first question.
Well, Michigan holding on to a 1-goal lead with about 4 minutes to go. There was a 5-on-3. Now, Alaska hasn't been great in 5-on-3s, but regardless, this was a different Alaska team that we saw on Saturday night that we've seen in years past, and it was certainly something to take note of. Michigan didn't even give Alaska any scoring opportunities, really. They cleared the puck down behind Scott Grenham at least 5 or 6 times, twice during the 5-on-3, and then about 4 times during the 5-on-4 once Louis Caprusa came out of the box, and I think the highlights speak for themselves.
All right, well, let's take a look at those, but first...
3.5 minutes to go in Saturday's game. Michigan trying to kill off a 5-on-3, holding on to a 1-goal lead.
Take a look.
The Nooks, strong forechecking presence as they had all night. Hagelin, Langlis, and Rust out there for the Wolverines. Their 3 best penalty killers. Michigan's penalty kill has been weak, and you see here all 3 are sucked down into the corner. Dangerous situation for the Wolverines, but these guys have the presence of mind to get out there, get their sticks and passing lanes, diving in front of potential shots. No easy looks for the Nanooks, setting up in that triangle formation. Nanook forechecker down there has no real options. Any pass or shot will be blocked. And Carl Hagelin doing a nice job here, defending, looking at the spin move and reading it, gets in front of a shot, allows Chad Langlis to clear the puck out. Michigan kills off the 5-on-3. Later in the game, 5-on-4 here, Kevin Clare bumps Yaremchuk off the puck, allows his defensive partner Patterin to have the easy clear for the Wolverines. And one final rush here for the Nanooks on the power play. Sean Hunwick with the presence of mind to clear the puck high off the glass from his own goal, behind his own goal. Michigan kills off a dangerous situation, hangs on to win.
Martin Brodeur looking.
I was just going to say that.
Martin Brodeur. Yeah.
Sean Hunwick looking like Marty Brodeur, I think is what they're trying to say.
Up there, yeah.
But Hunwick gets himself in trouble when he does that.
He's not great at handling the puck.
He's no Marty Turco.
No, he's not.
Oh, Martin Brodeur.
Or Martin Brodeur.
Or Al Montoya.
Or Al Montoya.
So again, I guess this is the theme of the show, Adam, is can they replicate this down the stretch? Or is this, again, a lucky penalty kill here where Hunwick, amazing clear around the world there that saved them right at the very end?
Well, the penalty kill certainly played better this weekend than it had throughout. Michigan scored a lot of shorthanded goals, and dating back to the GLI, they allowed 4 short and penalty power play goals by Colorado College in the GLI championship.
Right.
And that was really the low point. But since then, the penalty kill has stepped up. And yeah, it's still down around 80%, but it's been on the upswing. And that penalty kill is certainly going to be something that has to step up if they want to make that national championship run.
That's right. You talk about multi-year trends in this team. The past few years we've seen with Red Berenson at coach. Special teams hasn't always been that strong, really. It's been up and down. Power play has been strong at points, also weak at points. Penalty kill has been weak at points. But for now, you wonder if what we saw this past weekend was really, truly a new transformation of this team, a hard-working team that's willing to grind out every shift to make sure they win the game.
Right. Well, and there was a short-handed goal, too, for Alaska in that game. I mean, power play and penalty kill are two different things, Peter, but the short-handed goal, that's a little bit demoralizing, especially in a one-goal game which it was.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, you just got to play strong. And obviously, they weren't playing too smart on that power play. Maybe that was a wake-up call, the wake-up call they needed, because as we mentioned, they were playing sloppy all night long. And even the third period leading up to that penalty kill, they weren't playing great at all. It seemed inevitable that Alaska would tie the game, but they didn't, and that's what made it all the more amazing.
All the more amazing. I guess that kind of sums it up. Things actually broke Michigan's way. I think everyone can agree Michigan played pretty well, but also that some lucky breaks may have factored in there. Just like at the Big Chill when that one goal, Michigan State goal was waved off. At that point, it was still 2-0 or whatever. Could have completely changed the complexion of the game. Well, completely and totally switching gears in no rational way. Merrick catches up with Michigan hockey players about once a week, and she caught up with Chris Brown asking him about his experience at the World Junior Championships. Take a listen.
Is there anything that you think you take away from that kind of international play that you then come and bring back to your play at Michigan? Or do you think that's just kind of its own experience that doesn't necessarily have much connection?
I think a little bit of both. I think you want to take back the compete level and the battle that you have in that short amount of time. So, I mean, you know that you're competing for a gold medal, but you want to bring that short tournament competition back into your game when you come back to Michigan. And I think also in itself, it is a short amount of period. So you want to play every game like that. You want to have the energy that you have to play against the Canadians or the Russians or the Swedish teams. But, I mean, in all reality, every game comes around and it's not that hyped up as it is there. But so I think you take a little bit of both away, but you try to do as much as you can to bring the same style of game that you have here to there and vice versa.
So Chris Brown playing in those World Junior Championships, saying it's a positive experience, something that he can learn from, and that always takes players away from Michigan at GLI. Michigan still did win GLI for the first time since 07 or 08, which was kind of confused. That it's surprising they don't win GLI more often, but Michigan State's usually a solid
We
team.
see them in years past lose Matt Rust, Carl Hagen, the Swedish junior team. This year there's John Merrill and Chris Brown on the United States team, both two key contributors this season, and to win the GLI against a good Michigan Tech team, a good Colorado College team. That really was one of the things that made this winning streak all the more impressive.
AJ Treyas said after I believe it was the Michigan Tech game, he said that someone asked him about missing Chris Brown and John Merrill, and he said something to the effect of, well, it's a little different when you don't have Chris running around out there causing trouble. And, while you can joke about Chris Brown and his tendency to hit people, maybe at questionable... Be hit by people at questionable times, his physical presence that he brings has, I think, really helped that first line, moving him up and moving Glenn Denning down. I really like that combination that they have up top.
Well, we talked about Michigan's lack of, good scoring chances near the crease, and Chris Brown is just the logical choice to do those things because he's the biggest guy in the team.
Yeah, you have big bodies like Kevin Lynch who have played in the crease.
Kevin Lynch, too.
But they're not natural scorers like the way Chris Brown is. Chris Brown has good hand, good hockey instincts. I like him a lot. And I like how Red put Matt Russ in the crease, too. Putting big scores, Matt Russ isn't as big as Chris Brown, but he's still a pretty big guy. Right. Putting guys who can have more of a scoring touch right there in that crease role, it's sort of a dual threat.
A dual threat?
Is that a cross-sports analogy?
A cross-sports analogy, perhaps. Peter, the bane of Peter's existence, cross-sport analogies. I was going to try to come up with one to counter you, but I don't have one. All right, let's move the focus on to this Michigan State series. Well, it's not a series, it's just one game. It's wrapping up the end of the Big Chill series, which was only one day. Should have played two. How cool would that have been?
Oh, it would have been awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Home and home?
Home and home at Spartan Stadium, too. That would have been what a great idea. Not as good idea as playing a basketball game on an aircraft carrier, by the way, which is going to be horrific if it's windy, which Michigan State just announced they're going to do with North Carolina. That's a cross-sport analogy that has nothing to do with anything.
Oh boy.
Let's take a look at Michigan State's season this year. Not exactly what was expected. Again, 2007 national champs. It's hard to believe. But Michigan State, there's Dustin Gaisley, who actually went to high school with me. He grew up in my neighborhood. Hi, Dustin. How's it going? You don't look like you're having much fun there right now. Michigan State 10-12-4 overall, 6-10-2 in the CCHA. 10th place, a negative 12 goal differential, only a few points ahead of Bowling Green for last place. And Bowling Green is not threatening to take over 10th place in CCHA. They have 2 wins in like 18 games played. But Peter, this could be, there's a lot of explanations for this. It could be karma for the whole Steve Camper thing. It could be just karma for Rick Comley living and breathing other people's oxygen, because he is a terrible human being. What happened to Michigan State? This is a pretty steep collapse, may I say, maybe akin to Michigan's football's collapse in 2006 when they were in the national championship hunt, at least.
It is. They have lost some key contributors, obviously Justin Albuquerque going to Detroit with the Red Wings. But really, they haven't lost, that much talent that's not unreplaceable. They have a couple first-round draft picks. Danton Levier, a first-round draft pick of the Atlanta Thrashers.
How do you know about that?
I don't know. I just do. He's a speedy little guy. But, they do have the talent there. It seems like their entire system has broken down. It needs to be a pretty tight, good checking team. That's just falling apart.
And the fundamentals just seem to be lacking. They just look like a bad hockey team. I mean, that's not insightful, really, but
Palmisano hasn't played as well as he did last year.
Too.
But who stepped up for them has been Torrey Krug, their captain, the sophomore defenseman. He leads the CCHA defenseman in points, but he's doing it all himself. And to do it all yourself from the blue line, that's a tall task to ask of someone.
Yeah, some interesting connection on that Michigan team. Trevor Nill is the son of Jim Nill, assistant GM of the Red Wings, and of course I was saying Dustin Gaisley. So moving to the focus of this series.
This game.
The end of this series. Can Michigan pull off the sweep in one game, Peter? Is this Michigan State team, as lame as we think they are, or are they perhaps a little bit, more dangerous than people are giving credit for?
They did battle the Wolverines pretty hard 2 or 3 weekends ago now. Of course, the only loss in Michigan's 9 of 10 winning streak was to Michigan State in early January coming out of the GLI. So they can beat Michigan, we know that much. And as I said, they're definitely a talented team. They're a team that hasn't really pulled it all together strategically wise yet. But, it's not a team that you can just rest upon.
Adam?
Well, they do give Michigan trouble. Michigan plays really well at the Joe, and the way Michigan's playing right now, they only lost in overtime to Michigan State, and that was a couple questionable goals that put Michigan on 5-on-3s, and that's how Michigan State scored a couple. Torrey Krug actually had 2 in that game. But I think Michigan's just playing a lot better than Michigan State right now. They did, to their credit, beat Miami last weekend, which was an impressive win.
Right,
but
like
then
7-4 win.
Yeah, then got beat down, I think 5-1 the following night.
Right.
So they're a streaky team, and Michigan is playing them on Saturdays, which they just can't seem to lose a game on Saturdays.
11-0-2 this season on Saturdays, which is just a tremendous run. Of course, up until the last 2 or 3 weeks, their record on Friday kind of balanced that out. So, Peter, prediction time. Period time now. PPPP.
All
Who do you think's gonna
right,
win
Michigan
and
3-2.
Michigan 3-2.
Michigan 4-2.
Michigan 5-2. I don't know. All right, thanks for watching this week. We'll see you next week when hopefully we're talking about one big Michigan victory.